that
Yeah.
usually doesn't go right with the status of leader and manager, right? You're
Well,
accountable for your employees.
well, um, the big idea that I have is the title of my course, Leading is Everybody's Business. And so we don't put the attention so much. And if you've noticed how humble this man is, he doesn't put the attention on himself. He puts the attention on community, people, and last, the business will run if he puts his attention on the right things. So he's a people first leader, right? And accountability means everybody's accountable, not just the the product manager or the process manager or the project manager or the supervisor or the CEO or the owner of the company. Everybody's responsible. Everybody should be holding everybody else accountable.
You know, maybe a lot of people ask themselves this question: why do you hire back exactly those people that got fired previously? Who
Mm,
would do that and why?
mm. Well, I think he evaluated their character on his first visit. They weren't angry. They were showing grace and ease at a time when they had to close down the factory, but they had spirit, like the guy Rich, who showed him around. His father did this, his grandfather did it. He had the dream. He had to hire that man back. And he was a good leader to the other 55 people, and he knew you if we had to hire 3 or 4 people, because that's all we can afford right now, here they are.
Mhm.
Then here are the greatest and the best out of those other 55 people that we need to get back here. But they were developing a dream together, actually, even though Hamdi had the dream because that's his DNA. He's a shepherd. He's a son of a shepherd. And just to jump forward about, does it really work? He started with nothing. He was minus nothing because he borrowed money. That company today is worth 3 billion with a B dollars. 3 billion US dollars, many, many more um, of lei,
Mhm.
many more lei. But,
So,
and a lot of those 55 people are now millionaires because they had all got stock. All 2,000 of his employees have stock that is worth about $100,000 a piece.
mhm. So the
So
next question would be, Jim, how to really make the switch? How to become a servant leader?
first, the switch is in your mind. It's like Peter Navarro, the guy I told you the story of. I heard him this morning. He has no idea because his mindset is I bully, I force, I coerce, and now I have 30 complaints about me, but I'm getting my job done and the president is happy. Well, that's because our president needs to read this book. He needs lessons. He needs coaching that will not ever help him. But uh, he's his mindset. He hired people around him with the same mindset, buying into his dream. We coerce, we market, we serve the rich. Because why? I'm rich. So this is the people we serve, not the other people. We make it look like we're serving them, but we're not really. It's not in my mind. It's never been in his mind. So the first switch is in our own mind. That, the reason why I showed that is, if it's possible for a shepherd who knew no English, had no money in his pocket, to do something, and we can make all kind of excuses. Oh, he was in the U.S. Oh, somebody loaned him money. oh, this and that. I don't need excuses. What I want to see is people see the mindset, how it went from zero, minus zero, to $3 billion. And people, communities, whole communities have been served. We got you jobs. We donated money for uh, athletic things for children. We helped build schools. Like your company, HPDI, and I'm a partner too. I'm pleased to be a partner who will have uh, projects to go in and rebuild a school in a rural area with no money, bring supplies to those kids. This is community building, right? This is, I care about the community. Or your project, you bought food, you cooked the food, you fed the homeless, you fed people who don't have the food. Okay? Community building. We should do more of it.
Mm-hmm.
So the first switch is in the mind. Everything starts with the mind. It's like a rocket. If a rocket takes off from Earth and it's supposed to land on the moon, which has been done, if the rocket is just a few centimeters off on Earth, it misses the moon by 100,000 miles. That little bit of change is in the mind, it's in the mindset. And so our very first lesson was about the difference between growth mindset and fixed mindset. The difference between learning and being judgmental. This guy was into learning. He was completely into the growth of everyone. That, Kraft, a Fortune 500 company, saw no value in that factory, no value in those 55 people, no value in the product. Okay, we're going to make a better product. And we're going to use those same people because they had the spirit, they had the character. They bought my dream. They already had my dream. They made yogurt. They already bought my dream. And if I could sense that they didn't, they're just working there because they're working there. I don't want you to work here. It's bad for your health. Now we have research. If you do something you don't enjoy over a long period of time, then you are more likely to have a heart attack or a stroke. And you hear people say, oh, I do it. I'm just waiting to retire. My heart's not in it. That's because their heart's being affected by it. My heart has to be in it. This is my spirit. My strength of character has to be in what I'm doing. Millennials cannot take jobs where it's not there. I see more millennials who just, I can't do it. I'd rather go home and live in my parents' house than do that job. Why? The values my manager had, the values top management had. They lost what the founders once wanted.
So there
If
comes
you're,
another question,
yeah,
Jim. Whether you're a company owner or just a department manager, how do you get this philosophy of servant leader to transpose to a servant organization or department? How do you get this philosophy or a set of values to your employees in order to make a servant structure?
So now, once Hamdi convinced everyone that the consumer, our customer, is our boss, then he proved it with action. He put his phone number, personal phone number, on every cup of yogurt, right? To prove I'm going to be taking the phone calls from them, not you, me, because they're my boss, not shareholders, not anyone else. The two most important people to me are my employees, who now I made a partner. Once you make somebody a partner and they're now involved in the profit sharing in US, other, I don't know what it's called in Romania, it's called profit sharing. Everybody is has a system where they feel like, I'm part owner and
Hmm.
I'm as responsible to that consumer. So how we're making the yogurt, how we're purchasing the pure products, how we keep the factory spotless. Now, if we translate that to each individual team and forget about yogurt for a while, it depends on what is your product. Are you making bigger dreams out of your product? Are you continuing to find out how I serve the customer better? I mean, look, I'm sitting in the US speaking with you, and I don't even know how many other people are online right now because our consumer demanded it. Most of my clients were waiting, postponing. We want you in person. And after 6 months, 5 months, they got tired of waiting and said, nature has forced our hand. We want you in our homes.
Hmm.
Come to our home and through this technology. Okay, yeah. And millennials said, yeah, no big deal to us. We knew about this when we were born.
We'll
We
send
can
the
speak to
video
any
camera.
technology.
Yeah.
Pardon?
We'll just
Pardon?
send the video camera to you, and that's it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and
So,
so
so Jim, I still have two more questions, and
mhm.
one would be born out of what you said. You said that this guy he put his number for his customers to call him, right? Now, I believe another detail should be clarified. What a servant leader should do when he hears or she hears about customers complaining. How should he or she transmit these complainings to his employees?
you know, um, that feedback is the most important feedback of the day.
Mhm.
That a complaint from a customer is an opportunity, not a distraction, not an interruption from my day. So I had a company that needed to learn that, and every time somebody called with a complaint, they would say, "I'm going to transfer you to the supervisor." So the supervisors were. It was a board. It was called the Board of Water Supply in Hawaii, and the supervisors were covered up with these complaints. So we changed it around and said, once you solve a complaint of a customer, you make your business better because you now make it systemic. We put it in the system to make that change for every customer. And that customer goes out and tells 10 other people what you did. They fix this. For me, if somebody doesn't like my training, they get a full refund. It doesn't matter what their reason for not liking it. You just don't like it. You didn't learn something. Take your money back, please. Uh, no problem.
Yeah, but I
Uh,
think it's really important that you treat these kind of complainings, as you said, as opportunities and not as ways of fighting with your employees for them having done mistakes or not doing their job well enough and so on. Because I believe there's a certain topic at this point to discuss
well,
how you
here's what we
transform,
made people do. Let me interject for a second.
please.
The people in the Hawaii Board of Water Supply had to say, when somebody said, the receptionist said, somebody has a complaint, then the response is, that's fantastic. You really? And you're giving them to me? That's the reason why I have a job. This is if nobody have any complaints, I don't have a job. So thank you for giving me the complaint. I want the complaint. I want to solve the problem for the customer. I serve the customer. I'm the servant of the customer. I work for the customer. If the boss came around and said, I have a complaint, you would listen and you will solve that complaint right away. Well, the real boss isn't the boss. The real boss is the consumer, is the customer, the one who pays your check, the one who's your company exists because they exist. It's not the other way around. We exist and then you come along. No, no, I'm filling a need in society. I'm filling a need, your need. And you'll come to me if I have a good product to fulfill your need. So I look at it, my mindset has to change to this is the reason I have a job. I get to solve a problem. If I don't solve their problem, they speak to 25 people, not 10, 25 people and complain to them about me and my company. This is the research. The people who complain the most are the ones who weren't satisfied with your service. You did not solve my problem. And I tell 25 people or 15 people. If I do something right, they tell 5 people.
Yeah, and I also believe that there is one more important thing, Jim, and I would like to hear your opinion about it. If I'm fearful about what is going to happen to me when I do a mistake or cannot solve a customer's complaint, then I might not be the servant that you would like me to be. Because, in my opinion, there's a difference between doing things because otherwise something bad might happen to me, or doing things because I know even if I do a mistake, nothing bad will happen to me. So I do it gracefully because I enjoy my work. That's a huge difference between the two of them.
Huge, huge. Now, let's use an example from Romania. Okay. One of our clients is Promelec, and Promelec is founded and the CEO is Karoli or Karoli Nagy. And I think in Hungarian it's Nagy, but because he
Is
was
not.
telling me once, and here in the US we had a famous baseball pitcher, and it's Nagy.
Mhm.
However, just I see a grain of sand and I know the whole beach. That's my philosophy. I see you do something and I know about you. I know about the rest of your beach. Now, the first thing you know about him is that he has training regularly for his first customer, his employees. He wants them to be the best they can be. Does he just send them or does he attend? He attends everyone that it's possible for him to attend. He learns along with his employees. But now, one example of him being a servant leader is that um, one of his employees speaks Hungarian and not very good English. So now we have to find a translator. Who's going to translate for her? He translated the whole day for her from English to Hungarian all day. He didn't hire somebody. He didn't have one of his other people. He has other Hungarian speakers in his company. In Cluj, we have Hungarian speakers in that area
Yeah.
of the country. So he could find one, but who did it all day long? Not easy to do, believe me. Very exhausting. Now, all of his employees see him there. First of all, you gave us this training day. You're paying for it. You're paying all our salaries personally through the customers buying our electronic products. You attend with us. You are humble, no ego to see from him. You are humble. He treats them like family members, and he serves in the most subservient way you could. You could hire somebody, pay them, some lower wage, and let them translate, and I'll relax all day. No, I will do it. They see him doing this. Is he raising their energy or dropping energy? He's raising the energy. This is called discretionary energy. It's the energy that I create through my modeling alone, my modeling. What am I doing? I'm creating this. All I said was what he does, not what he says, what he does. All
Mhm.
indicate he's a servant leader. All raise the energy of his company. That's why it's successful.
As a
Uh,
counterexample, Jim, I will not name any company, but I heard the story as the general manager went to his employees and said to them, the complaints for our customers cost me around one car per week.
hmm.
Now, what do you think their energy was like?
I'm completely inspired. Uh, the thing is that let's fix the problem together. And the 50-50 rule is he or she, whoever was talking, should ask themselves, what part of the problem am I creating? Because I'm 50% of the problem. I'm part of the team. I'm responsible to train them. So, what have I done to cause this? So, I take my part of the responsibility for the problem that's facing us. And this is part of servant leadership, that we have to achieve this goal. The goal is stop losing one car. What is it per day, you say?
Per week.
Stop per week. Stop losing one car per week. That's the issue. And then there's me, and then there's all of my salespeople or workers. So now let's meet together. I can be ego driven, angry, upset, and drive your energy down, or because I'm protecting my bank account, I'm protecting my comfort zone, I'm protecting my reputation. I'm losing one car per week, and you are making our company look bad. No, we are making our company look bad. We are losing the money. So it's about what's my role in creating
Accountability.
this problem. Pardon?
Accountability.
Accountability. It's I have a role. I cannot put it on you. It's us. You didn't hear Hamdi saying, complaining about, oh, we had this challenge, we had that challenge. He said, we slept together for 5 years and we never left the factory. He slept on the floor with his other workers in the factory. So it's how do I demonstrate I'm a servant? How do I do that?
So,
So in
as
the
far as
book,
remember from what you said, is be an example.
yes,
The first rule, yeah,
model,
be a model, and another one, switch your mindset, because this is
yes.
the point from where everything starts, and not to be the last. Try to think of complaints or things that are not going so well as opportunities. Try to
And
be glad that you have the occasion to switch them, to change them, to repair them.
I have a job because you have a complaint. I
Hmm.
have a job because you have a need. And because you're part of my dream. See, my customer is part of my dream. I want to help you achieve what it is that you need. Whether it's a football player who's we have a need and we can see it now, we can't go to a football match. See, we have a need to be entertained. We leave everything behind and you entertain us, the best football players in the world, right? So that's how they serve us, right?
Now, how does this statement sound to you? You, my employee, have a problem. Therefore, I have a job. Is it too
Say
bold?
say it again. I lost part of it.
You, my employee, have a problem. Yeah, have something to be solved. Therefore, I, your leader, have a job.
Yes, that's exactly right. I have a job because you're here. right? I am here to serve you. You're not here to serve me. Whether you're a project or a product manager, those team members are not there to create your position. Yes, I'm a manager. We don't need a manager if we're not here. We're here, and your job is to make us successful. You serve us. We're not serving you, we're serving the customer. And yes, if I call it the difference between managerial satisfaction or customer satisfaction. We're here for customer satisfaction, not to satisfy your need,
Mhm.
unless your need is completely aligned with the customer's need. However, most supervisors are not in touch with the customer like the employee is. The employee knows, they hear what the customer needs, how we should be changing our product or service to satisfy them, right?
So why don't you think that? Why do you think that employees do not tell their supervisors about their ideas and about their solutions?
Because it's called speaking truth to power.
How hard is that?
Very hard. Very hard, because you have to let go of your ego, and you're taking a risk that now that person who's in the authority position will treat me differently because I'm telling them things they don't want to hear. Uh, our current president in the United States can take no feedback, nothing. You must agree with him and totally follow him. And if you don't, he comes down on you. If you ever listen to an interview, he'll say, "And you're fake news. Your company's fake. Everything you say is fake. You're terrible." You know, he'll tell the
Mhm.
person to their face like that, just like that, because you disagree with me. See, now we have to change the mindset. The mindset is, if we get feedback that is improvement feedback, it's a gift. If someone speaks truth to power, it's a gift to me that somebody has the capability of telling me, I have to change.
So
I
how do
have
you
to do.
change this mindset? How do you change this mindset of somebody coming to you and speaking truthfully to you and not looking at this attitude as a danger zone, but rather as an opportunity zone? Because many of us think that if an employee has a better idea or a better way to do it, that might put us in a bad light. So,
Yes.
how do we switch this concept?
So now um, we have to change again the organizational mindset. The organizational mindset is, we blame management when a problem is there. Then management blames the employees to the trustees. Now it was their fault, not my fault. And so there's blame all the way around, and not taking responsibility for the issue, right? So the mindset is, I protect my ego at all costs. So if you disagree with me, you are attacking my ego. That is the fixed mindset. The growth mindset is, you're not attacking me, you're curious. You are curious about this. You're trying to find a better idea. So the first question is, how do I know my idea is right unless I put it out there to my team, my trusted team members, and let them stress test it? Because the idea is, I don't care who comes up with the best idea for our customer, for our service. It doesn't matter who it came from. I don't have all the answers, and I have to admit to that. Whereas even employees want to say to their manager, their supervisor, their team lead, you should have all the answers. You get paid more. You drive a better car. You do this, you do that. No, That's that we don't pay you because you have more answers. We pay you because you come up with a better answer using everybody's energy, creativity, knowledge, and experience. You know how to facilitate getting the best idea. Okay. You don't have to come up with it. So, in order to understand the switch, which is a great question, I need to realize I'm not always right. I don't have all the answers, but we can figure it out together by using all of the brains in the room, not just my brain. If I just
Yeah,
use
but
my
doesn't
brain,
that put you in a doesn't that put you in not such a favorable light in front of your employees? Doesn't that affect your status as a leader?
in the
Doesn't that decrease their trust in you?
old system, yes, it would. New way of thinking, we're in a meritocracy. A meritocracy is we want the best idea. We don't care where it comes from. And sometimes we take 3 or 4 ideas, combine them, and make a better idea. So if you can't speak up, and this is part of millennials want their opinion heard.
That's true.
Research says, Google says, our best teams, after we've done the research, our best teams have 2 things. One, everybody's allowed to speak. Everybody's taking their turn to speak. The extroverts are not dominating the conversation. The manager's not dominating. We have turn taking. The second thing is we have psychological safety. We're allowed to speak truth to power. We're allowed to say what we think, even if it disagrees with you, because we're not attacking you personally. We are being curious to come up with a better idea. So, attack versus curious. The people in management have to be trained to understand your job is to find the best idea, not to have the best idea. This is a knowledge based society, which means the workers know more than you about what you're talking about. You know, if which I am a boomer, and I'm working on technology with anybody from HPDI, I let you take the lead. You know more about technology than I'll ever know. So you take the lead. Now, in the
And
old
another
way,
thing you do, Jim, and I have to emphasize that another thing you do is that you emphasize everybody's credit. You always do
absolutely.
that. You always say that, well, you're the best one to do this because you're very good at your job. I'm asking you, or yeah, I'm asking you to do it, or asking you for information, and I trust you because I know you're good at it. You always do that.
Well, this is, you know, to me, a lot of this is common sense. You know, I have a book that I would recommend if it's called The 7 Pillars of Servant Leadership. And that is by Sipe, Sipe, and Frick, Frick. But you can get it on Amazon. And it says, here's how you implement servant leadership in your organization. And what does it say? 7 pillars. Think about Hamdi Ulukaya. Says person of character, puts people first, skilled communicator, compassionate collaborator, has foresight, is a systems thinker, and has moral authority, not authority, moral authority. Okay. To me, these are common sense things to be successful at anything you do. They're common sense. They're common sense. Then the original article that Petru and HBDI read has the 10 elements: listening, empathy, healing. You know why you have to heal? Because there's so many bad managers out there. 50% are bad. You know why? They like the pay. They don't like the job itself. They just want to go back to what they were doing. Managing people and leading people is difficult. It's the second most difficult profession in the world. Number one is being married. 50% of marriages fail in the US. I don't know about Romania, but 50%
I
fail.
believe it's around 40 and something.
So you're better at it than we are.
No, we just don't tell the whole truth.
Maybe. The second hardest is managing and leading people. 40% fail. 40% of fail. And I ask people when I coach them, look, if you could go back and do your original job in the company and get paid the same amount that you do now, would you do it? Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. 78% of the people I've asked say yes. Only 12% say, oh, yeah, 12 to 22%, maybe even 10% say, no, I love my job as a manager. So the answer is common sense. Common sense. My original story of the guy who was saying, I'm a bastard, I'm a SOB, I'm a terrible guy, and I should be here in Washington, D.C. to succeed. No, not true. You can succeed, but how do you treat the people and yourself when you're going through these issues? See, what's most stressful is not the situation or the issue itself. It's how you relate to the issue is not the substance of your stress. It's how you relate to yourself while you're going through, to others while you're going through the issue, and then to the issue itself. It's not the issue that's creating the stress. It's how I relate to the issue and to the people and to myself. Do I get angry? Do I get upset? Am I abusive to other people because I'm being strained by some obstacle? They're part of life. Remember, leadership moment is there's me, there's you, and there's the obstacle, there's the goal, there's whatever we have to achieve. And in between me and you and that goal are continued disruption, are continued obstacles. So we have to go through that together. How am I going to be? What am I going to
So
do?
I believe this is a fair question, and I would like to invite our participants to write down in the presentation. You can do that. So, what do you decide to change after this seminar? How do you decide to act from now on? What would you like to do differently to your or with your employees or with yourselves? Because that's really a good question. As Jim said, I have to start with myself, then I will do it with my employees. So,
Let's go. Can I interrupt for a second? Let's go
please,
back to
please.
what they said in the beginning. They're absolutely right. Ego is the biggest um, uh, obstacle to servant leadership. Ego. They said they knew it. Number one, you know why? It's a natural response that we have called the fight or flight response. It's natural. It's there really for physical threats. But in today's society, yes, we still have some physical threats, but most of the threat is psychological. And as soon as we feel some psychological threat, they call it at Bridgewater touching a nerve. As soon as a nerve is touched, meaning you don't agree with me, wait a minute, you think you have a better idea? You don't like my idea? See, I'm threatened. My first response might be that natural fight or flight response. Now, I can either allow it to be activated, or I can activate what is called, there's the sympathetic and there's parasympathetic response in that nervous system. Sympathetic is I'm going to fight or flight. I'm going to leave the room, or I'm going to argue with you and I'm going to raise my voice. Or At that moment, in a tenth of a second, I can say, I need to be sovereign over this threat I'm feeling. This person is not attacking me personally. They're just trying to come up with the best idea possible for our customer. So I want you to know the toughest thing there is managing the stress. And I've been coming to Romania for 21 years now. If you've heard me talk about meditation, it's to handle that stress, that reaction, so that we are still um, sovereign over it when it comes up, because it will come up. It's natural. It will come up. Now the mindset has to change. So that one is the most important to our listeners, but I want them to know it's a natural response that they have to overcome. It's called autonomic nervous system, meaning it's automatic, but see, it's not so automatic. I can choose a different approach in that moment where I'm feeling attacked because of traditional natural response to any threat. Or I can say, for the good of my customer, for the good of the team, this is a meritocracy, not an autocracy. I'm the authority. I will make the decision. That's a very limited decision. So please continue to ask. I see. I will change the attitude.
How
How
will
I'll solve
solve?
the issue. I'll share the dream to the team. Very good.
Yeah,
I
that's a
like
great one.
that.
I'm
Yeah, perfect.
curious, what are other measures the participants are going to take? And until we get more answers, Jim, I have one last question to you. Honestly, how easy is to make the switch from a manager or a leader into a servant leader? How long does it take, and how hard it is?
Great, great question. Not easy. And it's a daily, daily, daily fight. It's like restarting it every day, that I'm going to get challenged today. And really, let's say I lose my temper. Then a person of character, which is what Hamdi is, the van driver, Southwest Airlines founder, um, so many people, Cowerly from Promolec, they have strength of character that it's natural to lose a temper and get angry. It's unnatural to stay there. It's natural to apologize immediately and say, let me restart that. Let's restart that. I my first boss never got angry. His wife told me he never gets angry. I wish I could say that about myself. I cannot. So I have to recover from it. I'm sorry I lost my temper. Let's re-look at that situation. I take responsibility, my responsibility for part of what's happening here.
Mhm.
And I'm here, we're working for the customer. We have, this has to be ingrained in all of our managers, and they have to ingrain it in their team. And how do they do that? They model the fact that they work for them. They work for the employee. Then the employee has the idea, oh yeah, we work for the customer like he works for us or she works for us. So like the first thing is listening, the 10 principles, listening. You know what listening is? It's not only I'm listening to you and I repeat what you say to let you know that I've heard it. That's listening. But it's also I receive feedback. And I tell people start with appreciate and improve feedback, anonymous. And I'll show you that I can take it and I don't take it personally. And I make changes based on it. Remember, Hamdi said, I got feedback from the customer personally, and I made some changes. Some things you can't, you can't change. Somebody might say, I need all organic uh, products in there. Well, he might say, we can't get a hold of that much organic material, so we get as much natural and organic as we can, and the rest is pure, as pure as we
Mhm.
can get it. That's all I can promise. I can't promise all organic.
So, because our time is pressure on us right now, I would
Yes.
like to end this part with reading some of the answers. Someone said, enhance more the getting our jobs done and enjoy life. Continue to keep in mind my dream while serving the people. Set better the boundaries and let as much freedom possible between them. More focus on community and people and less on figures. I'll change my job. No, he was just
Yeah,
kidding.
you have to. Some
But
you do.
yeah, but continuing to ask those challenging questions and get myself out of the comfort zone and much more focus on people. So I believe these are great,
Fantastic.
fantastic ideas. If you would like just to say five best practices for us at the end, Jim, what would these practices be?
Start with always the question, whom do I serve?
Whom do I serve?
The second question to ask yourself is, what dream do I serve? Because we need a dream to inspire us.
Mhm.
You can call it a vision, you could call it a mission. Everybody's got to be on a mission for to really have that energy and purpose behind you. What you're deciding on your small teams, the question should be, will this decision that we're making add value to the customer, and how? Will this serve the customer better, and how? Will this make it easier for the customer to do business with us? Sometimes I go online and try to even join something or buy something. I can't do it. It doesn't work. It's not customer friendly. It's crazy. You are not even allowing me to buy your product. I can't do it.
Mhm.
Um, will this help the employees do their job better, or will it hinder them? Will this make it easier for the employees to serve the customer better? So it becomes service centric. The customer is at the center of everything we do, not the manager, not top management, not the shareholders. The customer is at the center of everything we do. The employees who are serving the customer are first. I first take care of them. I gain their trust. I model for them what needs to be done. I show them I'm a servant to you. I do the translating. I drive the van. I sleep on the floor with all my employees. I give up profits to share them, not as a gift, but as what you earned. I made each employee $100,000 richer on one day. And some of them, like the first 55, some of them have become millionaires because of their stock, their shares. Millionaires. So it's another mindset shift, and then modeling it for my small team, my company. Um, if we're going to go serve that school, we're going to go rebuild it. I'm coming too. I'm working all day.
You'll be the first one to know, Jim. We promise you that.
Yeah. Well, what I mean is, whoever, if you're doing something for the community, you do it too. Like HPDI does. Everybody shows up to work, to help. And I'll say one last thing. I met a vice president of a drug company, um, and Abbott Laboratories. And he gives me his card, and on it, it doesn't say vice president, it just says helper. Helper. So I said, what? After he left, nice man. We're in his office. He didn't have a chair for his desk. He didn't sit down in his office. And I said, so what does this mean? He said, he travels all around the company all day long, opens the door where it says meeting in progress, and says, how can I help you remove obstacles? Do you see obstacles right now that I can help you with? I'm here to help. If not, I go to the next place, meeting in progress. Boom, I enter there. And so he's the helper. He's the servant of all these people. He doesn't sit behind his desk and wait for people to come to him. He goes out and he helps people. I think we should all be helpers,
Thank you, Jim.
servants. Yeah.
Thank you
Thank you.
for your story and for experience and for all your energy and new ideas. I invite all participants to give us their feedback for the next sessions. And I must say that it has been a pleasure and an honor, as always, to make this kind of partnership with you in a training. Um, and I believe that there will be more and more themes on the months to come. And you will be approaching different aspects of leadership and a lot of interesting topics about it.
It's my honor to serve.
Thank you so much, Jim.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, all participants, for staying with us and giving us your attention and your energy. And hopefully, we're going to see you soon. We're still waiting for your feedback, and I will put some music. And this is how our radio show is ending today. Thank you so much, Jim.
Thank you too.